that even giving those bikes to the other charities takes up a lot of admin time from the police when they should be policing. So we have the space to house all of those bikes. We've got the willingness and the brain power to run that side of things for them. And the real crunch will come is you know, the Cycle to Work scheme, that only applies to new bikes. So we thought, well, hold on, why don't we start the Recycle to Work scheme, which is going to give us a great problem, which is how do we get more bikes to recycle?
Steph, you'll have come across many different people who might need help and support, and some would say prisoners are not necessarily the obvious choice. Why did you decide that this was the area that you wanted to offer your help, your experience?
All of our ventures are about getting the members of the public to spend time or interact somehow with the guys that have been inside and not just swallow what various broadcasters and newspapers say about prison leavers, because they'd have you believe that everyone in prisons are wrong, and it's just not true. You've just got this tragic waste of life, because I see all this talent and this energy in prisons that's just being sapped out of them. This cycle of reoffending we're trying to tackle. It's not the job of the government to sort it out, or the police. It is our job. You know, we've got this because we deserve it. We are society.
I've seen the current reoffending rates from the government are just over 25%. So how does your program compare?
So we've trained 38 guys now, 2 of whom are currently behind bars, one of which isn't a reoffender. It was an offence that had happened before his last sentence, so he's been recalled, and one guy is on remand. So at the moment we're somewhere between 2 and 5% is our reoffending rate.
Well, that must be something that you're incredibly proud of. And you know what? We've had a message actually from Ed, one of the lads who's been through your doors. He wanted to tell you something. Have a listen.
Since I left prison, it was always going to be a struggle in terms of like getting, and like I said, back into community. And XL Bikes, you know, they've given me a qualification in terms of bike mechanics. They've obviously employed me. They've been a good support network for me, so yeah, they've really helped me. When I was in prison, I studied to be an accountant. I'd done my AAT level 2, level 3 when I came out, and XL Bikes, they've given me the opportunity to pursue that career and hopefully achieve the goal that I want. So yeah, they've given me that opportunity and really enjoying it.
What does it mean to you to hear that, Steph?
It's really, sorry, I get emotional. Ed is a guy who, aged 34, he joined us, and he's never seen the sea.
Take all the time you need, Steph, alright?
I need some sugar in the coffee to set the salt. So Ed saw the sea, and he's a good mechanic. Ed's not untypical. He's an extraordinary individual. When you see what these guys have been through that leads them into prison, and then what they have to go through to get out of that system. You know, EXO stands for ex-offender, but we stand up for ex-offenders, but it shouldn't stand for that. It stands for extraordinary. We call him the Rock. He is the guy that is a physical presence, but he's somebody that everyone that comes through just leans on Ed, and we all lean on Ed, and he's got these massive shoulders physically, but he's dealt with more than any of us have any idea. He's lost half of his life in prison, and whilst he was in there, as productive as he could be, he got up to level 3 accountancy exam. So as soon as we learnt that, we said, okay, well, put your spanners down for 2 days a week. You're going to do the bookkeeping. And so our finance director and our financial advisor guy, they now mentor him, and I just pray that one day he ends up as our finance director. He's already been offered a job by a friend of mine that runs a big insurance group, saying we will sponsor him for his accountancy stuff. Now that's something, you walk out of Cambridge, you'd do well to get an offer like that. But he's up to that. He loves doing what he's doing, and that is helping other guys, and that's something I realise that, you know, these guys are leading by example. Going back to that point about society owning this problem, these guys own it. You know, they want to help people. They're not, you know, some people are embittered by it, but you get to a point where they're going to go, if you help them, they will help others, and that's surely what it's all about, isn't it?
Now, Steph, we have a board here in the cafe where people leave us a message, a bit of motivation, a couple of words that have really kept them going when things have been tough. What would you like to add to our board?
It's not about you, it's about other people. And I look around and see what's happening in society now, and you kind of go, well, the answer's in front of you. It's not money, it's not you, it's not fame, it's other people. Just go and help them. And that joy that you get, I'd never experienced that joy. Back to your Cafe Hope, and it's just great to be here. I come from one place of hope, and I'm in Cafe Hope, so it's great.
Well, joyful. I think we can definitely take that. Steph, it's been so lovely that you've been able to stop by. Can I give you a big virtual hug?
Yes, please.
And so much luck with all the work that you're doing. It's incredible. Swing by here on your bike anytime.
Great. Got lots to tell you.
Although I should warn you, the cafe cat has fallen asleep in your bike helmet. She has a habit of finding the smaller spaces. Good luck getting rid of her. Thank you to Steph. His life took a completely new turn when he experienced that very transformative moment. Have you been through something similar? Or maybe you just saw some way you could change the world around you for the better. What was that moment that motivated you to get up and do something about it? Or perhaps it's someone you know who sparked a bit of hope in your community. One person with one idea we know can change lives forever. Whatever your story, we would love to hear from you. You can message on WhatsApp. The number is 0330 678 4707. Everyone's welcome here at Cafe Hope. See you next time.
Cafe Hope is produced by Uma Doriswamy.
It's the fastest fortune ever made.
Discover the man behind a mass fraud.
And it's the quickest fortune ever lost.
The human stories behind the data.
When you look at the numbers on the graph, imagine if they could help you reveal the guilt of a serial killer.
And the facts behind the fads.
Fitness trackers are actually better at recording data when the wearer is sedentary, which is not exactly very helpful in a fitness tracker.
Podcasts to feed your curiosity. Good Bad Billionaire, Uncharted with Hannah Fry, and Sliced Bread. Listen on BBC Sounds.
BBC News at 10 o'clock. Israel says it's completed a military operation at Al-Shifa hospital in Gaza, which began 2 weeks ago. Hamas officials said dozens of bodies had been found at the complex. Video on social media shows many of the hospital's buildings burned out. Our correspondent in Jerusalem, Yolan Mel, is following developments.
The Israeli military said that when it went into this hospital 2 weeks ago, it was acting on precise intelligence that there were Hamas and Islamic Jihad operatives there. It was being used as a base, and it's called this one of its most successful operations of the war so far, saying that it rounded up many hundreds of people who've been giving up useful information, and it killed some 200 members of these two main Palestinian armed groups.
Ministers in the Scottish government have rejected claims that a new hate crime law, which has come into force today, could curb free speech. They say there are safeguards in the legislation, which is intended to protect minority groups from prejudice and hatred. Police say they fear a huge rise in reports of crime, particularly about social media posts. The Home Office says a further 442 migrants in 9 boats were brought to Dover yesterday, means the total number crossing the Channel during the first 3 months of the year is 5,435, up 43% on the same period last year. The Turkish president has described his party's worst ever defeat in local elections as a turning point. Recep Tayyip Erdogan acknowledged his AK party had lost ground to the main opposition party, CHP, which won in Istanbul and other major cities. The business minister Kevin Hollenrake has said he hopes individuals involved in the post office scandal will be held to account, with criminal prosecutions where possible. Last week, the BBC revealed the company knew about flaws in the Horizon IT system, but carried on resisting legal claims by sub-postmasters. BBC News.
It's the day that's been dubbed National Price Hike Day. So what's going up and down, and what does that mean for you? In You and Yours today, we'll discuss the changes, and is getting married just too expensive these days? Experts are on hand to tell us how to tie the knot on the cheap. All this and more in You and Yours, which as always is just after midday. But now on Radio 4, here's Nuala McGovern.
Hello and welcome to Woman's Hour. Hope you had a very good Easter. But now, for this Monday programme, we're going to be keeping it country for the next hour. Let's start with this.
Everybody wanna be a cowboy, drive a jumbo with a John Deere. Everybody wanna back with a strong with a tub full of ice down beer. Something that water blowing out of the hot blue collar, Mr. Carter Llewellyn. Doggone dadgum, didn't see that coming. Country's cool.
Obviously female stars with her single Country's Cool Again, and it's hard to disagree with her because country is having a moment. Beyonce has just released Cowboy Carter. Lana Del Rey has announced an upcoming country album, and the country queen herself, Shania Twain, will be playing Glastonbury. Maybe, like me, you're just agog looking at Tracy Chapman's performance at the Grammys. She played Fast Car with country star Luke Combs. We're going to speak this hour about the growing interest in the UK genre, also the influence of TV, film and clothes, and we'll celebrate the female icons that we know and love, and also the battles that remain for women in the industry. We're not live today, but you can join the conversation on social media at BBC Woman's Hour or email us through our website. But why don't we start with a Nashville superstar? Carly Pearce is an American singer-songwriter who went from performing at Dollywood to becoming a Grammy and then 3-time Country Music Association award winner. Her last album was called 29, written in stone. It was critically acclaimed, and it chronicled her divorce from a fellow country music star. We're going to hear a track from that album in just a short while. Do stay with us for the performance. She also has a new album that we will talk about.
The NHS did it, doctors did it, nurses did it, those who work right across the National Health Service did it. And there were a number of things that we did. We introduced something called